Okay, so Josh and I are doing this unintentional role reversal, whereby I actually don't have any notes this time. He did and I don't, so I suppose that's appropriately symmetrical, and there we are. So in school at the moment, I'm in the middle of going through Hamlet with my class, and I suppose it's appropriate because we had Torah and we had life experience, so now we can have a little bit of literature. I appreciated that.
Are you testing us?
No, I'm not testing you at all. So actually, getting back to work has been a little bit complex for other reasons, but also because I'm in the middle of a tragedy. But a bunch. It's an interesting.
That was funny.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be funny, but it's dark humor. So I'm in the middle of teaching. I'm in the middle of teaching this particular play, and the main conflict surrounds the title character who is struggling with the loss of his father, and he's struggling with the loss of his father because of a betrayal of his mother and a betrayal of his uncle. Okay, so it's a really dysfunctional family. Fantastic. And so one of the poignant moments is when his mother accuses him of mourning excessively. And so she says to him, Hamlet, why seems it so particular with thee? Why is it that you're really having such a hard time, bud? And he says to her, nay, madam, nay, it is not seems, for these are the actions that a man might play. And the idea is that the appearance that a person gives can be an act, it can be just dramatic, and really it doesn't necessarily reflect the reality. So my mind went from there, and I'm in the middle of thinking about this, not voicing this to my class, because, not voicing it, they're not there yet. No, they're not there yet. And it made me think of another line, and I'll get to my mother favorite in a minute, but we're not there yet. Macbeth, different play, very different plot line. But at the end of the play, when everyone, because it's also a tragedy, so everybody that needed to die has appropriately died. No, for real, literally, not figuratively, literally. It's a tragedy. And so Macbeth is reflecting on the death of his wife, and this is right before he gets killed. And he says, life is but a poor player. It struts and frets as hour upon a stage, and then is heard of no more. 'Tis a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. And the notion of that line is really life is a load of baloney. It's nothing. It's this vapid, vacuous, absolutely shadow-like vortex of existence. And it's meaningless. And there's this inherent contradiction in the play, because in an earlier scene dealing with another death, again, it's a tragedy. These are all tragedies. There is a different line, out, out, poor candle. So I've thought a lot about the fact that, coming back to Torah land, that the neshama is like a ner, and inherently a light is something that gives light to others, that it sustains itself, because it's this self-burning entity so long as there's fuel, and that it can sustain others. And I thought about how wrong Shakespeare had it, because life isn't a poor player. Because it's not strutting and fretting its hour upon a stage. It doesn't just have this kind of moment and then is heard of no more. Because there is this notion of legacy and there is this notion of continuity. And Ashreinu, that we're dealing with a culture and an inheritance and a heritage that really vests us with so much inherent meaning that it defies what the world around us says is meaningful. And so I've thought about that, and I go to Julius Caesar, which my mother really liked. And I realized that that's also a problem, because one of the main lines in that play is, et tu Brute, then fall Caesar. If you could be, Ellie, you got that one, good try. If you can, we're good. If you can betray me, then I have nothing left. And I think to what Josh said before, about the notion of this, as common culture calls it, a village. But the idea that we're really blessed with so much internal and external fortification that we are able to withstand what Shakespeare in Hamlet says, the slings and arrows of misfortune. Because they come. But it doesn't matter that they come, because we're strong enough to withstand it. And so I think to the fact that, especially in what Rabbi Silber said about our mother at the funeral, like, she was a tough cookie. And, some armor does a really good job of keeping out what it needs to in order to protect what it needs to. And it may not always be the kindest experience to itself or to others, but it does what it needs to do in order to sustain itself. And so I go back to the idea of a candle. And my mother as a giver, and she really self-perpetuated this notion of giving that I will never try to emulate because I can't, but I will always try to keep in mind because I can. And so in that, I could say out, out, pour candle, but it's not a pour candle. Because thankfully we're dealing with a ner tamid, and our kids now have the illustrious job in perpetuity to really bring it forward into the future. And I think that's the point. So thank you for being with us, and thank you for sitting through it as a mini version of Shakespeare 101. But I think she would have appreciated the literary connection. So thanks.